Welcome everybody to the Comedy Workshop. I'm JD Damon. I'm your host this evening. We got a good crew with you. We got Gandalf the Gay Jim. We have Deb and we have David Parsons and myself, JD Damon. Like I said, I'm your host. It's the Comedy Workshop, episode 417. Small announcement we always like to make is this is a comic safe space. We are not out to intentionally hurt anybody's feelings or offend anybody of that such. We're just trying to be funny. We're here working on our funny, and we hope we don't offend anybody. But if we do, then oops. Sorry. Here we go. So we get assigned topics. Everybody does 3 to 5 minutes that are assigned topic. We get feedback. We go back around. Everybody does their own material, 3 to 5 minutes. And then we'll get feedback for that material too, try to sharpen it up, make it better. I really ask that you guys, be respectful of each other and pay attention to everybody else's set, not just your own, and try to give good feedback. And that's what we're here for. So with that getting started, I'll let you guys go around and introduce yourselves. Maybe just introduce yourself, tell where you're from, how long you've been doing comedy. Start with you, Jim.
Okay. Jim Music. I'm in Dallas. I did some comedy back in 2013 through 2015, and did some open mics, not a whole lot, but I did some open mics. I mainly took a couple of improv classes, and they told me I wasn't any good at improv. They said I was too busy trying to make a joke. So I took stand-up classes, and they said, basically, you're a better writer than you are a performer. So when I get feedback, of course, I want feedback on the material, but any hints or suggestions you can give me regarding delivery, I'd really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Cool. All right, Deb.
Hey, everyone. I'm Deb. I am from Australia, Sydney, and I'm a long-time aspirant to be a comedian. Only just started to dip my feet in, and the lockdown hasn't really helped go and do a lot of face-to-face, but I'm really happy that there are so many virtual spaces available, and I love the Comedy Workshop. That's
cool.
Me.
Very cool. Awesome, Deb. All right, David, you're up, man.
All right. So I'm originally from England, but I live in Texas. So I've been here 20 years. I'm pretty much domesticated now. I have driven a truck. I don't drink tea anymore. But yeah, I've been doing comedy for a couple of years, mainly stand-up, but I've dabbled in sketch and improv as well. And I love it. Yeah. Any chance I get to perform. So I'm very happy to be with you all tonight.
Very cool. Very cool.
David, where do you do your comedy in town?
So I do a lot with Stomping Ground Comedy Theater.
Okay.
I do a decent amount with the Comedy Arena in McKinney.
Okay. I'm actually taking their stand-up course in the fall.
Fantastic. Which one?
Stand-up comedy, the intro one.
At Stomping Ground?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I help run a monthly open mic, and we encourage all of our students to come to that. So,
Sounds good.
Very cool. I'm JD Damon. I'm from East Kentucky, way deep in the sticks. I'm actually around the West Virginia border of the Appalachian Mountains. So, it will take you long to pick up on that accent of mine, I'm sure. But I've been doing comedy, 3-4 years. I'm going to say 3 years because I feel like COVID stole a year away from me. But I've got to participate in things of this nature. The Comedy Workshop has been a real blessing to me. It's been really, really cool to make contacts. Jim's on my Facebook now. He's in Dallas, Texas. I would never made that contact. And it's really cool. Jim's a cool guy, and I'm glad to have him on my Facebook. And I'm very tickled to meet people from Australia. And, David's in Dallas. So I think it's really, really cool. And I'm just excited to be here and be your host tonight. So the way I'd like to do it, too, is I'll start with Jim, and we'll just go around like we introduce ourselves, and I'll go last both two times, and that's how we'll do it.
Okay.
With that being said, Jim, tell us your topic, and you have the floor, my man.
Well, welcome to Boomer Comedy. I'm about to reinforce the stereotype that old people like talking about back in the day. My assigned topic is, drumroll, farmers. We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum. Not that kind of farmer. Not that kind of farmer. My grandparents were farmers. And as a small child in the summer, I would spend weeks with them. Since they lived out in the country, they did not have access to a city sewer system. They had a septic tank. And consequently, we were not allowed to flush toilet paper. We had to put it in a brown paper grocery bag in a trash can by the toilet. And then every day, those bags would be put in a barrel outside in the back and burned with any other trash. As a dumb kid, it didn't bother me at all to have to burn that crap. I loved it. Playing with fire, that's an 8-year-old boy's wet dream. Loved it. I just had to be careful not to start any grass fires, and I learned very quickly to stand upwind. I literally burnt the shit out of that trash. I loved it. My grandparents had chickens, and if you've never seen a chicken getting its head cut off and then the body hitting the ground and take off running, that's a phenomenon. It's amazing. A chicken's spinal cord and nervous system are strong enough to make the body move even without a brain, but not for very long. Humans can have nervous system reactions too when their brains aren't working, and you can prove it, and you don't have to decapitate anyone. You just have to get a guy just really, really drunk and then touch his dick. Let's see. Chickens are like women. They produce eggs even when there's no cock around. But there's one big difference. If a rooster has sex with a hen, then for the next 2 days, you can't eat that hen's eggs because they can be hatched. Roosters aren't involved at all when it comes to the eggs you buy at like the grocery store, which means I can honestly say that I like my eggs like I like my women, unfertilized. Once I was walking to the hen house and I stepped on a chicken snake and it coiled around my foot. I screamed and tried repeatedly to kick that thing off. Eventually, though, it did fall off and it slithered away. And I swear in that moment, my voice changed and my balls dropped. My grandparents also had cattle. Cows have one udder, which is in 4 different quarters, and each quarter has a teat on it. The ideal teat is around 3 inches long. Too bad that's not the standard for men. Now, my grandfather was skilled at milking a cow. If one of the feral cats came around, he could actually bend that teat, squeeze it, and shoot milk into that cat's mouth, which, interesting enough, I developed kind of a similar skill after puberty. If you're not familiar with cows and bulls, let me give you a hint. Never try to milk a cow with only one teat. A cow may let you do it, but you're not going to enjoy the milk.
That's what you got?
I've got one more thing. On the farm, we would also go hunting. Once my brother took me hunting with him. He was using a shotgun. He thought he heard some birds in a bush, so he took a shot. He figured he hit something, so he told me to go check it out while he continued to walk around. But then he heard rustling in another bush and took another shot. I screamed, "Lonnie, you shot me!" Luckily, I was only hit with buckshot that ricocheted off a tree, so I wasn't hurt, but I had whelps on my back from my neck to my ass. And since then, I have strictly avoided having anything else shot on my back. That's my time.
Nice. And we'll do the feedback. We'll let Deb go first. We'll go right back around. That's how we'll continue to do it all night long. So, Deb, you go first with your feedback.
Hey, Jim. I always love your word plays and, the double meanings. And I've seen a lot of your comments along the way as well. And you're really, really very good at that. So there was a lot of actual information about farm. So it was kind of quite informative, but at the same time, there was those word plays like really kept it going. So I almost felt like it's there's a lot of stories as well as there's a lot of jokes along the way to kind of break the stories. So I really liked it.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
That's me.
David?
Oh, I thought it was great too. Never miss an opportunity to use a sexual innuendo, and farming is particularly fertile ground for that.
I see what you did there too.
Cocks and bulls milking, and but yeah, I was. What I loved your the vision you painted of burning shit in paper bags. That was I thought you could have done more with like teasing out some of the narrative of that. That was sort of like a highlight for me. And then yeah, the ideal teat dispersal of teat arrangements. That's something I never really thought about, but very good. Like it.
Appreciate it.
Good. So I wrote down actually quite a few things here. I feel like you started out with you don't want to be like every other boomer and talking about back in the day. And I feel like there's a good opportunity to be like, you know what? If anybody talks to you and tells you back in the day was fun, they're fucking stupid. Because back in the day was bullshit. And then tell your burning shit story.
Right. Okay, I got it.
That's not fun. That's just a fucking bullshit thing to do. Also, there's a joke that I have. I just thought that you might use it because I'm probably never going to use it. I actually wrote it for this workshop, but I think it's a pretty good joke. Farmers like to plant by the moon. Papa was like, "Oh, we can't plant the tomatoes because Mercury ain't in your retrograde." Grandpa, I don't care, but if you make me planting more corn, I'm gonna stick this thing up your Uranus.
That's good. Thanks.
I don't know. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I also thought that the rooster hen thing. I was waiting for the joke because he was like, the difference is 2 days later you can't, and you was educating us. And it was almost like a TED talk instead of a comedy set for a minute. And then you told the joke about, liking a woman's egg. You like your eggs the way you like your woman unfertilized. But that joke should have went right after that.
Okay.
Eliminate all that other stuff and get right to the joke.
Okay.
That's just, trim some of that fat away, man. All that stuff is unnecessary. Get rid of it. Then you talked about 3 inches being the standard for the teat of a cow. And you said, too bad it's not the standard for men. And you could almost, if you like self-deprecating humor like I do, if it was 3 inches was the standard for men, I could almost make it then. Yeah. There's a lot of rumors about farmers having sex with animals. And I personally never saw any of that. I may or not have participated in it, but I never saw it. I don't know. That's all I got.
Oh, thank you. That's good.
All right. Good stuff. Good job. Deb, you have the floor.
Cool. Okay, so my word was monopoly.
Monopoly?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yep. Right. Okay, so monopoly is like a complex word. So mono is like single. So like just one. And poly in like some language is selling. So it's basically one seller in the market. And the way that's typically achieved is through unfair competition. But then if you can pull it off, you make a lot of money. So I'm going to pause there for a laugh break because that was the peak of my set. Thank you. But I still think, despite the kind laughter, I still think that I'd probably make a better monopolist than a comedian. It's not so much the money that attracts me, but it's more the mono. I really like playing solo. So my dream life is like taking a nap, having some quiet time, doing some meditation, then for hours just Googling meditation. I'm really going to love that life. That's my jam. Now, the problem is though, I don't like unfair competition, right? Now, unfair is not what the problem is, but like I said, I like playing solo, and competition requires at the minimum like a duo. That's like red flags for me right there. I don't like to play with other people. And then competition requires effort. And I'm not lazy. I am, what I say is energy efficient. And I know that competition requires me to lift my game, and lift my game is not an energy efficient way of doing things. Look, there was once a guy, he was very smart, and apple fell on his head or something. I won't bore you with the details, but he has explained to us why it's so hard to lift anything. He called it gravity, and I believe it. Like, go gravity. I'm not going to lift anything. It doesn't work. There is another problem. They tell me that in order to survive competition, you have to do this thing called break the glass ceiling. That just gives me OCD. I don't like broken glass. I'd rather that the glass ceiling kind of vaporizes by itself with no effort needed from my end. And that's a scientific approach. Like, my friend circle vaporizes all the time with no effort from me. My bank balance vaporizes all the time. My charm vaporizing every day. It's scientific. It's a very reasonable expectation, and I'm thinking that is a much more energy efficient way to get rid of that glass ceiling. So it really stresses me out when people are like, "Hey, take the hammer, break that glass ceiling, let's shatter it." It really stresses me out. You know who does that? Beyonce. Like, she's like, "Yeah, who runs the world? Girls. Who runs the world? Girls." I'm like, that's cute, but that's not true. We all know who runs the world. Cockroaches, right? Like, when a cockroach enters the room, we're like, no matter how little it is. That is respect. When a girl enters the room, we know what they're thinking. Can she tackle the cockroach? That's so unfair, isn't it? Beyonce should have probably said who also ran the girls. That would have been, more believable. An interesting thing about cockroaches, they seem to have friends. That's nothing to do with Monopoly, but I thought that was a interesting observation. And that's my set. Thank you.
All right.
Woo!
Thank you.
All right, good job. Very good. David, we'll start with your feedback, man.
Okay, that was a very interesting set, because when the topic was mentioned, Monopoly, I was expecting you to talk about the board game, and that didn't come up at all.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos and Amazon, and that didn't come up. I mean, it was you kept it interesting. You went all over the place. You were Isaac Newton, Beyonce, cockroaches. I mean, there's very fertile ground for exploration, and very unexpected. And I like the kind of the droll sort of get close to the joke kind of sort of subtlety. You sort of tease the humor out of the situation rather than being too obvious. I liked it. Very, 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 very dry, very witty, very funny.
Good.
Thank you.
So I wrote down some of the same things they wrote down. I thought the first thing I wrote down was board game. I was waiting on the board game stuff to come out, which is fine, that you didn't go that way. But I think that's just what I was expecting. I like playing solo. Like, I'm going to go back to what David said a minute ago, was never pass up an opportunity for a sexual innuendo. So, I like playing solo, wink, wink, like, wait, do toys count?
Yeah.
I also feel like you could have went through some monopolies and this may be the American speaking to me, I don't know. But if you could go back to some monopolies that have been broken up and talking about, why they were evil or why they were broken up, whatever. Like, I feel like there's some photographs that you find there. And you was like, talking about the Beyonce thing, you was like, she's talking about the girls rule the world. We don't know who rules the world. You said cockroaches. Like, I would like you to go with something like somebody that's completely almost obscure, but like he's like a C-list guy. Like, who runs the world? David Attenborough, of course.
Yeah.
Somebody everybody knows, but everybody knows like, well, they does nature documentaries. Like, I don't know, but that's all I got. Gandalf.
Okay, Deb, I think that's the best set I've seen you do. I think I may have seen you do 4 sets so far, but I thought that was the best one. I really enjoyed that, so good job.
Thank you so much.
I thought the applause break was hilarious. I thought that was stuff like that would work on stage too, So I really did like that. When you were talking about meditation, just one thought I had is maybe one time misspeak and say medication and then correct yourself,
Yeah.
The vaporizing mist was good, of everything that vaporizes, like your bank balance and that kind of stuff. I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed when you mentioned Beyonce and you did that shoulder work. That was fun. That was a nice touch. I can't see comments on my screen.
I'm about to show them all.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's
So
one in there.
We have some Facebook comments.
Yeah.
I think this goes back to Jim's set. It says, my gay friend told me he used to have baby cow suck his dick. Okay, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Note for Deb, I am thrown off by the question tone at the end of your sentence. Now, I agree with her there. Like, tell the joke and be confident in what you're saying, that you know it's going to get a laugh.
Yeah.
You know that shit's funny. Not is this funny? And that's
Yeah. That's very good. Yeah, I get that.
And Bildersburg Intelligentsia.
I don't know.
I don't understand. I don't really understand the reference, but I thought maybe you might.
I'll Google it later.
Yeah.
But I think one opportunity too would be, since you're talking about monopolies, it would be a great time to rag on Facebook. Because it's all powerful. They have no customer service department. You can't talk to anyone. And when they make a decision, it's final.
Yeah.
They're the true monopoly.
Apparently that goes back to Rule of the World. She misspelled it. She fixed it the next comment. Bildersburg Intelligentsia rules the world.
Okay.
So.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So I appreciate your comments, Priscilla. Keep them coming. That's it. We'll get you done. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jim.
No, that's just it. I just thought that, if you're going to talk about a monopoly, especially in this format, Facebook is an obvious go-to.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, David. You are the man, brother. You're up.
So I've had an interesting week. I had foot surgery on Tuesday. I had my big toe fused, and I've been on some very groovy drugs since then. So I sat down to write a few bits and pieces about dungeons, which is my topic for today. And let's just say my brain went into a few strange places, and so I decided I'm going to riff on it a little. You think of one of two things when you hear the word dungeon, or at least I do. You either pair it with dragons and go for the look that Jim's trying to pass off, or you think of 50 Shades of Grey, which is kind of the vibe I'm getting from Deb a little bit.
I'm so disappointed right now.
So it's just, I was never that kind of a geek when I was younger. I never got into Dungeons and Dragons. I really wished I would. It sounded fantastic. I mean, this whole sort of made up kind of thing where you rolled dice and fought wizards and all that. It's kind of, but that's a very different kind of dungeon than your average middle-aged housewife fell into about 10 years back when 50 Shades of Grey became popular. And I'm sure this is a very commonly known fact, but I wonder if any of you all know that the origins of 50 Shades of Grey was as Twilight fan fiction. Were you aware of that? Because that's a horrifying thought. I mean, Twilight. I'm not of the age to have read that for pleasure, but my wife read it. And I'm talking here about Twilight, not 50 Shades of Grey. Sadly, my wife didn't read that for pleasure. But it's just the most dreadful, like, teen sort of angsty love thing. But then when you layer on top of that bondage, and then you sort of that takes on a life of its own and becomes the best-selling book for a couple of years. It's weird as all hell. Dungeons. You can be in the doghouse as a husband. I've learned that. That's kind of like a dungeon, except less screaming and fewer chains. Chains. Really, I have to apologize. I don't have an awful lot on dungeons. I thought it would be easier to get some inspiration because it's sort of in my. I'm gonna see the rest of my time. I'm gonna try a little better on the bring your own half of the workshop because that wasn't very good. I apologize.
So I actually wrote down two things. You all got me all the way to Twilight, which I think was actually pretty impressive. But Twilight is now on Netflix, and nobody who didn't watch it in the theater has now seen it on Netflix because nobody else. If you didn't see it in the theater, you don't give a fuck about it.
Oh,
yeah. And also, you talked about. Tell me the joke again about there was less screaming. There was more. What were you saying about screaming?
No, if you're in the doghouse, less chains, less screaming.
Okay, but unless I'm doing something wrong, but maybe I'm doing something wrong, And that's all I got. Go ahead, Gandalf.
Okay. I thought the ad lib where you talked about 50 Shades of Grey and the vibe you were getting from Deb was hilarious. I actually think that's the funniest thing you said. And I know that was just off the top of your head, but I loved that. I thought that was great. You have great facial expressions. I don't think that was meant to be part of your set, but especially when you would try to think of what to say next, you would contort your face in all sorts of different ways. I thought it was great.
Thank you.
I told a dungeon joke once. It's not very good. I said I finally gave in and went to this guy's sex dungeon and did not enjoy it. In fact, I came back with Dungeness crabs.
No! Very nice. Like it.
All right, Deb.
Yeah, I think the 50 Shades of Grey reference was like there's a lot to make fun of about it. Like how those people have no expressions and do nothing. Like there's a lot I think there's a lot of joke around that's possible, and definitely can connect up that doghouse joke somehow with the 50 Shades of Grey theme and make some connections there. I can't think of any, but I feel like there is a way to do a lot of double entendres around those two themes.
Dog collar.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like those. Yeah. Didn't quite get the teens reference. Again, teens is again a very fertile area to make a lot of jokes about because teens have like expressionless faces and they're like everything is whatever about them, and the 50 Shades of Grey was also a bit like whatever kind of a movie. Yeah. So there's a lot of nice themes around it.
So we had a few Facebook comments from Priscilla Mann. She says, P.S. I belong to a BDSM community, lots of dorks and geeks. Make sure you add me on Facebook. No, I'm just kidding. She knows the director of Twilight, laugh out loud. Ball gag equals less screaming.
Well, there is that.
There is that. And crap, she loved the crab joke Jim made. Very good.
Crab joke.
Very cool. Good job, David.
Thank you.
And now it's on to me. And my joke for today was Minion. And I'm going to apologize in advance. I had about 25 minutes of writing time, and I drank beer during most of it. So here we go. So I just looked up Minion. And so a minion is a follower or underling of a powerful person, especially of a servile or unimportant one. So some examples of minions would be, the president's cabinet members, Santa's elves, my ex-wife's ex-husband, especially his bank account. The word was not made popular, at least in East Kentucky, until the movie, which we all know, that would also describe my ex-wife's ex-husband as Despicable Me. My ex-wife is also a minion to Satan. He is more powerful, but she has a colder heart. And that's all I got. That's all I got. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, that's awesome.
Two really good laughs in that. When you called was it your ex's husband despicable? No.
My ex-wife's ex-husband.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was good. That made me laugh out loud. And then, of course, your ex is Satan's minion was fantastic. That's just a great line. So I thought you did really well. Does the audience ever have trouble understanding you because of your accent?
For sure.
Okay, because sometimes I can't quite catch what you say. So you just might want to, relax a little, slow down a little, and articulate.
So not only on here, but in real life, because not only do I have this accent, but I also speak very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have to pace myself and articulate when I'm on stage. Absolutely. I appreciate you calling it out. And my next go around, I'll try to do much better.
But you were very funny.
Thank you. Deb?
Yeah, I think the ex-wife's ex-husband line is really funny. I mean, anything following that phrase would have a joke on it. Just the concept of you tracking them, that itself is good. Maybe you could put a few things about how you get to know them. Like, do you stalk them? Do you follow them on Facebook? And just continue on that path. That will just generate a lot of jokes. I liked it, especially if it's in the last 25 minutes.
There wasn't much time.
Yeah.
I told Scott I do the workshop. I was like, man, I need to get some beer and some pizza before I go to the workshop. So I went and got beer and pizza. Went back outside. My car would not start. So I get somebody to come pick me up and bring me home. And I was like, okay. So I wrote down and then I got on here and sent the link to.
Yeah, awesome.
So, thank you. David?
Well, money line for me was your ex-wife is a minion of Satan. That's very, very good. And I can relate. I have an ex-wife like that too. Yeah. It's nice delivery on that. Love it.
Thank you.
He has more power. She has a colder heart.
Right. Priscilla Man, Despicable Me, Laugh Out Loud, and Satan Laugh Out Loud. So she liked the two jokes that I had, apparently. So, I mean, yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
All right.
And we will get to Jim's his personal set. Like, do whatever you want to do. You can now, if this is opened up to any kind of subject you want to do, your own material you have prepared, and we're going to try to give you good feedback, try to make it sharper, try to help you, and maybe if we can find a tag in there or a punchline, then we're going to send it your way and give you some pointers, man. So, Jim, the floor is yours, my man.
Well, thank you so much. This is fun. And I know what y'all are thinking. I really do. Y'all are thinking, what's Grandpa doing on stage? Are you trying to check off one of those bucket list items? Fuck you! Show some goddamn respect and get off my lawn. Okay, moving on. Speaking of old people, have you noticed that as people get older, that their nostrils expand until they're the exact circumference of their index finger? Speaking of noses, my nose and I have two things in common. We both hate being fingered and we prefer to be blown. Is it just me, or if you're out and you see a crosswalk, do you suddenly feel the need to prove you're not a robot?
No.
I I do not like Bill Cosby jokes. I find them really off-putting.
Oh, I see what you did there too.
Yeah, I know. It works better in writing. I just found out that the Amazon fire is not a South American STD. If doing something half-assed is bad, does it mean it's good to be a total ass? Speaking of asses, I hate my boss. While driving to work, I heard on the radio that 34 million airbags have been recalled, and I was so disappointed he wasn't one of them. I like to call my boss Little It. That's kind of my nickname for him. And I call him Little It because Human Resources gets upset when I call him Big It. See, my grandmother's cat died exactly 10 days after my grandmother passed away. People said it was because the cat was just so upset with her passing that it just gave up on life. But I'm pretty sure it was because no one was feeding it. I am totally against kitty litter. Just want to put that on the record. I'm not good with kitty litter. I think a cat should be gently placed in a trash can and never thrown out of a car window. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul will take. I want to know what psychopath decided to teach children snuff prayers. Now, I have friends that went to Catholic schools, and they tell horror stories. They say the nuns there would use these big wooden rulers to discipline them, that actually hit them. And then I've also heard stories that the priests would use rulers to select the altar boys.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
now, most people think it's an accident that the word God, G-O-D, spelled backwards is the word dog, D-O-G. But I think that's very significant. I think it foreshadowed Jesus's greatest miracle. You know, when he played dead? And God said, "Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?" I think I know why religion has lost some of its popularity, though. I think the traditional concepts of religion are just hard for people today to comprehend. I think, most people can kind of at least picture that there might be an afterlife. But it's hard for them to wrap their head around the concept of a father who loves you. Life hacks. Life hacks are very popular right now. A life hack is a little piece of advice that makes your life better or more efficient. So I have 3 life hacks for you. Life hack number 1, if you break a traditional thermometer and drink its contents, you will never have fever again. Life hack number 2, never perform oral sex with a woman who is ovulating. You might end up with egg on your face. Life hack number 3, binoculars or tampons can be very helpful when you're spotting something. Did y'all hear that Quentin Tarantino wanted to write the new Star Trek movie or the next one? He really did. And when I heard it, I thought that had to be false. I just assumed it was some sort of... But anyway. Lastly, always thought the phrase "you punch like a girl" referred to the force you use when you hit someone. But it turns out I was wrong. The phrase "you punch like a girl" refers to my jokes. Thank you. That's my time.
Very good, very good, very good. So, Deb, go ahead, fire away.
Oh yeah, again, I like the wordplay, like Amazon fire, half-assing, bigot, egg on face. All of that is like there's a lot of surprise elements on those ones. So those are really good. There was a couple that I couldn't quite follow. Probably could expand a little, or maybe I missed the context, like the crosswalk and a robot. I didn't kind of quite get it.
Online, when you they're testing you to be a robot, and you have to select the ones that have crossroads in them.
Okay, I don't know. Still don't
Okay.
get it.
You don't ever see the I'm not a robot. Select all the
Capture things like you got to pick the pictures of with a cyborg in it.
Oh, I see. Now I get it. Yeah. Okay. Cool, got it. Same on the Bill Cosby. Probably missing some stories. I didn't quite get it. But if you probably could expand a little bit before moving on, I think it'll give the person a chance to piece it together.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that pudding joke didn't really pop.
Yeah, it's probably just the time, like me as an audience is listening and trying to also put the puzzle together. So just giving a little bit of time would be probably great. Otherwise, yeah, love your set.
Thank
Always.
you. David?
So I like the style. It's sort of like one line a city, different topic every 30. It's great. I can't joke like that. I'm more of a sort of thematic comedian, but I really admire it when it's done well. Love the crosswalk joke. I got that instantly. I like the Catholic stuff. Nice. It's rulers and measuring penises is not a connection I'd ever made before. Thank you for that. I mean, just very clever wordplay, lots of different themes going on. Very much enjoyed it. Good flow, and I like your delivery. I think it works pretty good. I don't know what other people are talking about.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of deadpan it. You go from joke to joke. There's no big theme there, but yeah. Really good, effective one-liner comedy. Very much enjoyed it.
Yeah. So to go ahead and jump into mine and to build off what David just said, the only critique I would have is if you're going to be deadpan and do one-liners, which I think is where you need to be, I would go straight deadpan and straight faced all the way through, like no emotion, no anything, just go one joke to the next, and I think you're going to get a good response. The chocolate off-putting joke with Bill Cosby, it's a little bit hard to hear the difference between pudding and pudding.
Right.
So if I said it's a little bit off chocolate pudding, and give them a hint that you're not saying pudding, it's a little bit off chocolate pudding. Like they would now know I'm talking about chocolate pudding.
Okay.
I'm not talking about off pudding. Okay. You started out with saying, I know what you guys are thinking. And I thought, oh my God, he knows he looks like Santa Claus.
yes.
And so, like, I feel like you could go that direction with it, and you're trying to stay on the good list, or I think you said something about a list, or I don't know. And I want you to go off my lawn, and I don't know. I can't remember this in a minute, and I'm a little bit buzzed. Anyway, you call your boss Little It because they wouldn't let you call him. What was it?
Bigot.
Oh, call him a bigot. But I call him Little It because he's a clown. It.
Yeah.
And the auto board joke was golden. That was fucking good shit.
Okay.
I really thought that was hilarious. And so we got some comments from Priscilla Man on your Facebook account. I'm thinking you got lost, Grandpa. The best restroom is over there. Yeah, she said, or cats later. Maybe you know what she's talking about, but I can't remember right that far into your set. Clever, but children don't measure up. She's talking about your Catholic joke there. No, you don't punch like a girl. Maybe a baby girl. Oh, I agree with Deb. Robot thing is confusing. So if you can find a way to clean that up, maybe, and maybe you confused about, or the crosswalk thing, you don't know what boxes to hit when you go there or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And use better word than off-putting.
But then she got it, apparently.
And then she goes, oh, pudding.
Yeah, when she wrote it, she got it. Like I said, that works in paper.
I think if you use chocolate pudding or something that, it gives everybody another hint to pick it up faster.
Or say it's off-putting chocolate pudding.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that'll give them another clue to pick on, let them catch on quicker there. Yeah. So you feel like I'm pretty quick, and it took me a second too. So yeah, man, good job. And I said, and I think, I mean, you need to get in front of some audiences, man. That was pretty good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Deb, on to you, girl. You ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
All right, you have the floor.
Okay, so I really believe in self-care, and I do a lot of work on self-care. So for the 6 months or so now, I'm trying to think of 10 things that I'm grateful for. And it's a hard work. 10 things is a lot of things. So I've even tried to kind of, get my brain exercised by doing a bit of rap about it. Like, 10 things to be grateful. That has kept my plate full. Let's go find some gratitude. Let's say yeah to spicy food. That's kind of how I try and do this, but it's very hard. So the other day I kind of thought, oh, I've got something. I've got one thing that I'm grateful for. I'm not an ant. How about that? Well, yeah to 7 billion of us. That's one gratitude to keep in your back pocket, that we have more complex brains than an ant. So it's like, we are better than ants. Now look at us. We have emotions. It's not a cuss. I feel like the rapping thing is not going well. I really feel like I should give up rapping and maybe try some mindfulness instead. So let's try a fun exercise. Let's go to a different scene. I am a spelling bee judge, and all of you are the know-it-all kids. And I go, spell mindfulness. And one of you is going, can you put that in a sentence? I'd be, mindfulness is. See, that would be the end of my sentence because that's all I understand about mindfulness. Sorry if I screwed up your spelling bee. But there's one thing that mindfulness reminds me of. It kind of goes in my brain by address. So I can get the chanting on in my brain, by address. And suddenly I'm like really with laser focus online looking for dresses. And if the spelling bee kid was still around, they'd go, that's not how you get enlightenment. You do get credit card debts, not enlightenments. Look, so I'm kind of still trying hard. I decided that I'm too poetic for most things. I better try yoga. The great thing about yoga is you can't rhyme it with anything. It's not like you can say, if you like to exercise, you deserve some chicken fries. None of that pops in my head when I think of yoga. But you know what? Yoga requires muscle groups that a human being just going about their humanly business can never have developed. So a yoga class is like Attack of the Aliens. People are standing on their hands. I'm the only one standing on my legs. The teacher goes, slowly put your left leg down. I'm like, all my legs are already down. What do you expect me to do? So I put up my left hand. Instead, I have to do something as an alternate. And they think that I have a question. So I'm like, yeah, I do have a question. This is really easy for me. Can I do something harder? So I figured self-help is a bitch. The BEACH kind of a bitch. I'm trying to do decluttering, like, declare war on stuff that no longer spark joy. Now, the sparking joy for me only lasts about 2 minutes after buying something. So it doesn't really work. So I'm like watching the movie Frozen on repeat. Let it go. Can't hold back anymore. That's sort of how I'm trying to motivate myself. But then the only thing that comes to mind when I see Frozen is that I'm missing a blue dress. So what can I say? Self-care is a bitch. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I was right now. Good job. Nice. Good. All right, David. Fire away, man.
Yeah, good stuff in there. Like nice theme woven through it, sort of wellness and health and that kind of stuff. I like that. Yoga class, Attack of the Aliens, like that. That's a good image. Love the decluttering Marie Kondo bit. That was fun. And humans having brains more complex than ants. You got a decent amount of mileage out of that. I like your delivery. you've got that kind of sort of you're fairly deadpan too, not an awful lot of emotional sort of back and forth, but you're engaging, and I think I mean there's a lot of funny material in there and delivered in a very pleasing way. Nice job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm really working on delivery because that's really not something I've done a lot before. Thank you.
You done, David?
Yeah, I'm done.
So I feel like the same way. I feel like your delivery was much better this time. You weren't asking questions this time. You weren't asking if it was funny. You was giving the lines, and you was good with it. I thought that was much better. I do feel like you left some things on the table. You know, you hit a lot of good lines. I really like the Frozen. You know, you talking about Frozen on repeat, and then it just made you want to buy another blue dress. I think that shit's hilarious. That's funny, man. To me, I don't know. But you know, I probably actually was writing down what I wrote down was Frozen on repeat. But all it does is make me want to shop. You know, like it'll just drive me crazy, and I need to decompress from that shit. You know, I would like to hear more about the decluttering. There's a lot of hoarders out there that show hoarders. You could explore that. You know, talk about your problem with hoarding things, like I don't know. There's a lot, and the credit card debt. I think you could need to dig deeper into that. Like, you know, maybe you bought some silly shit on the internet. Like you once you bought it and you got it, and you was like, oh shit, I don't never use this, and I never will use this, but I'm so glad I've got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and like it was a compulsive buy. You know, so explore that a little bit. I think you could you did a good job, and I think you got a lot of things you can pull out of both those things. So go ahead, Gandalf.
Okay. I thought it was a real good set. I liked your energy. I think out of the two sets, probably the first one was my favorite, and I'm trying to figure out why, but I'm not sure. Now, when you're doing the 10 things, I have actually done something like that during a really dark part of my life. I made it a point of every day coming up with 3 things that I was grateful for. And I think you might want to cut that back to something like 3 and then give us all 3. You know, maybe go for that comedy of 3 things, you know. I love the rapping, and I loved even more that you came back and you said it wasn't going very well. Because I don't think rapping is your future.
That was a connection with the audience. Like they're also thinking, no, that's not going well. And I'm like, that's not going well.
Let's see, do they have Little Debbie snacks in Australia? Have you ever heard of that?
I don't know. Maybe there isn't such a common one.
In American stores, Little Debbie's a pretty big brand. And I kept thinking that your rap name could be Lil Deb. But anyway, I agree. The wordplay with credit debt and enlightenment was really good, but then I like wordplay. And then at the end, the callback to the dress was great. That's great that you did that. That's a fun mechanism to use. So good job.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Got some Facebook comments. Priscilla, she actually goes back to your set, Jim, and it says, mention Jell-O because Jell-O spokesman from Bill Cosby was a Jell-O. So maybe it's off-putting Jell-O. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of chocolate Jell-O. Off chocolate pudding. I kind of like the kind of rap way of talking, Deb. She was liking that. And right when you got away from it, she put that up right before you stopped.
Thank you.
And I thought this was a really clever line. Google alignment on sale for 40% off.
That's good to know.
Who made that comment? Or did you write
it? Ma'am. 2 minutes of joy can be expanded. She's talking about sex there, I think. No, she's definitely not with me. That's not 2 minutes is all you got. You were more assertive in this part. I liked it. I think I've already said that. And I think the rapping helped you solidify the presentation. So there you go. Good comments, Priscilla. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you so
joining
much.
us and getting feedback. All right. Good job, Deb. And now we will go on to David. Rock and roll, bro.
Thanks. Okay, so I'm originally from England, and sometimes I make love Paul Revere style. I ride in hard, and then I yell, "The British are coming!" Of course, I'm just joking. I'm a happily married man with a 10-year-old kid. Best contraceptive ever. And my love life isn't, shall we say, what it once was. I'm not entirely saying my wife's sex drive's low, but I'm not sure what was colder, the winter storm that whipped through the south in February, or the look on my wife's face the other night when I gently touched her butt as she was brushing her teeth. We don't do foreplay in my house. We do chore play. My best, if not only, route to a good time in the bedroom is an empty dishwasher. And we no longer Netflix and chill. We Disney Plus and guilt trip. So we decided to try a little role play to spice things up in the bedroom. We thought about school teacher and pupil, lawyer and client. But we decided to go with childless couple who doesn't have to get their calendars out to schedule sex. It's going to be fantastic. We've got it penciled in for July 22nd. But just in case you thought the romance was completely gone in my marriage, I bought my wife a kick-ass Valentine's Day present. A mug that said, "I love you more than bacon." Because sometimes it's the little lies that keep the fire going. All right. I think I might be turning into a little bit of an asshole because I've started to hate my pet cat. Bear with me. We've had Max since he was a kitten, but he's 17 now, which is like 90 in cat years. And apart from 15 minutes a day when he wants to cuddle, it's like living with a permanently drunk roommate. Max, what's this soggy mess I just stepped in? Yeah, I had this really delicious mouse earlier, and I thought you'd like it, so I left you half. Max, did you puke in my shoes again? I had just one drink too many. Better out than in though, right? Max, for fuck's sake, stop pissing on the bed. Oh, man. I thought this was the litter box. You know I love you, right? You're my best friend. Well, we took the little furball to the vets the other day, and when we got the results of his blood work back, I'm not ashamed to say I sat down and I cried a little bit. There's nothing wrong with a little shit, and he'll probably live till he's 20. All right. As I said, I'm originally from England. And when I first moved here 20 years ago, there were a lot of words in the English language that confused me over here because some American words have a different meaning, and this can cause remarkable amount of difficulty for the foreigner. The American use of the word fanny is slang for buttocks. In England, a fanny is a vagina. So you can perhaps imagine my confusion when an American friend said, "Gee, I went on a long bike ride yesterday and my fanny's still sore." How the hell were you sitting on the saddle, lady? Does my fanny look big in these pants? Well, you got a little camel. No, you look great, honey. Staying on the subject of genitals for a second, to the English, a word beaver isn't remotely sexual. In fact, the youngest Girl Scouts are called Beaver Scouts and are led by a grey beaver. Please, sir, would you like to buy some beaver cookies? Not really, no. In England, a rubber is used to erase pencil marks. Not in America, which explains the strange look I got when, before a test in college, I told an American classmate that I didn't have a rubber and asked if she had a spare I could borrow. What? I said. Just trying to stop myself from making a mistake I'll pay for later. Well, I didn't get the rubber. She sat on the other side of the room. And just as I feared, the need arose during the test and I had to rub one out as best as I could. And this one's the worst. The American use of the word spunk makes me positively nauseous. In America, spunk means courage, determination, get up and go. In England, spunk is slang for semen. So you can perhaps imagine my horror when an American friend said her 15-year-old daughter was full of spunk. Oh, God, I hope not. Well, that's all I got for you. You've been fantastic. I've been David Parsons. Cheers.
Good job. Nice. So I got a few things wrote down. Really like the bacon line, because of the small eyes that keep the marriage alive. I was actually starting to write down because what's a harmless lie? And you said it, and I was like, oh, okay, he's on it. I like it. The British are coming. The way you started out the joke, he was like, the Paul Revere style. The British are coming. I'm just joking. I'm not joking. Like you said, you just turn into an asshole because your cat's so alive and you're ready for it to die. It's like, cats aren't supposed to live as fucking long. Like as you tell the age, like I did not sign up for this shit. My 7 years was good, but this is bullshit. 19 and a half years. And I said you could sell the shit out of those beaver cookies in Dallas.
Yeah.
And that's all I got, man. Good job. Nice.
Thank you.
I agree with what everybody else has said. It was a good set. I like chore play. I like that. I like that a lot. I really got a kick out of your line about the little lies. That's a good line. That's a good line. Cats, I'm not a cat person. Now the horseback riding, the fanny joke, the saddle horn is not supposed to be a sex toy, right? And your line there about rubbing one out, that was really good too. So what's inside a submarine? Spunk?
Semen.
Right.
Full of tightly packed semen.
Right. Oh, the Good job. I like that a lot. I liked it a lot.
Nice.
As an aside there, sorry, one of my friends was in the Navy and he was actually in camp, sort of training camp with a semen samples. Poor guy.
Oh yeah, I really have to say I really like your expressions. I think Jim probably mentioned before, but it really lifts up all the jokes, the way that you kind of firstly the expression, and then you give a bit of a pause, like I was saying, that the audience can really work out the joke very well. Yeah, and all of the jokes about you and your wife, they were absolutely all hilarious. Like I really like the role play was a childless couple. That was really funny, and the kid being the contraceptive was very funny. The talking cat bit, I almost at some point was expecting that in the end the cat would be some kind of a person and not remain a cat because the cat was talking all along. I was thinking, could it become somehow a person that you in the beginning introduced as a cat?
And when I say cat, I meant my wife's oldest daughter.
Yeah.
Not supposed to live this long, all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and then all those, the language-related jokes, those were all really very funny as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Facebook comments from Priscilla Mann. Tour play work. She really liked that one.
Yeah.
So, very good so far, David. Fanny pack should be a part of that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Or Priscilla. I don't know. I'm sure he knows.
Rubber,
I'll pay for later. Delete.
Oh, well, that's I like a woman who knows a comedy.
And
She likes.
spunk also means that here. Yes, spunk can mean semen here as well. For sure. And so I've got one new joke I'm going to do. I'm going to do some of the stuff, Jim, you've heard some of this stuff before because you've heard me host. I've not got a chance to work on so much. I've been on vacation. And like I said, I just took this host spot at like 7 o'clock. And I've been busy since then. So I'm going to do some more work. I'm going to do one new joke, and you're going to hear some of the stuff that I usually do. And guys, give me critique and feedback, and I will take it and do the best I can with it. So here we go. My name is Jason Dameron, or they call me JD, and it won't take you long to pick up the accent that I am from the sticks, way in the sticks. But let me dispel any rumors you might have of people who come from the sticks. I can read. I wear shoes. And I don't fuck my sister. anymore. No, I'm kidding. I do fuck my sister. No, my favorite part about that is my favorite part about that whole joke is I don't even have a sister, just a very nervous younger brother. I'm a single dad. I got 3 kids. I've been in a terrible dispute over my kids, custody battle over my kids. 4 years running now. End up losing. And so now I've got the kids. I've got a, it's weird. Like I love the title dad though. Really, that's my favorite title that I have. Of all the things I do, dad's my favorite one. So it's really cool to see your oldest, child, my oldest son, take his first steps, go to his first day of school. And this year, he just now found out that the Santa wasn't real. But he's 19, so fuck him. My 15-year-old daughter is now talking in emojis. Now we go out. I took her school shopping. She's like, "Oh, Dad, I heart this skirt. I heart this shirt. I heart this. I heart that." So we was at lunch eating dinner the other day, and a pretty little waitress walked by. I was like, "Hey, Haley, I like to eggplant that waitress over there." My 13-year-old is now talking back. He's talking shit to me now. The other day, he was like, "Hey, Dad, you like Imagine Dragons?" I was like, "Yeah, I like Imagine Dragons." He goes, "Imagine dragging my nuts across your lips." And I'm not even mad at Oh. I've been dating. That's been the change. Like, guy in their 40s, you don't see a lot of guys dating in their 40s, and I've been in the single scene for a few years now. It's been crazy. I had one lady, she had me on Facebook. She messaged me like, "Hey, I like your beard." Now look, if you want to get my pants, the best way to do it is to compliment my beard. But she was like, "Hey, could you buy me some H?" And I was like, "I don't even know what H is. I got a little bit of D, but just a little bit. You can have it." But I can't remember. I'm starting to get a buzz. Also, when I was a lady, I thought she was a feminist. Turns out she just has a terrible haircut. One lady, I had to end up breaking up with her because she was a conspiracy theorist. I don't know if you guys were conspiracy theorists, but she believes in all the conspiracies. She believes the earth is flat. She believes that birds aren't real. She even tried to convince me that the female orgasm was real. What else? Oh, the next lady I dated, we ended up having a celebrity list. You guys know what a celebrity list is? Like, if you get a chance to run into this celebrity, like, you can have sex with them and the other person can't get mad. And I was like, "Okay, girl, I'm cool. It's 40. I'm in my 40s. Let's be realistic. There's people you like that you're sexually attracted to, right?" And she was like, I already know who I want. I was like, "All right, girl, who you want?" She goes, "I want Richard Gere, John Stamos, and Jason Momoa." And I said, "Same." Because look, I'm 100%. I'm gold star heterosexual, but I would fuck all 3 of those dudes. I mean, who here? Raise your hand if you would fuck Uncle Jesse. No, exactly. Jason Momoa's so good looking, I'd let him fuck me. And my brother really gets nervous when he hears me tell that joke. That's it. That's all I got.
All right.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Gandalf.
Oh, okay. I've heard you tell your you don't fuck your sister joke before, but that's still a great joke. I just love that joke. It made me laugh all over again. But I did think, I don't know. I've got a joke that I've used sometimes about I just fucked my first cousin, 3 more to go.
Yes. That's funny. That's good. Yeah.
Custody battle, you lost. Yeah, that joke's been around for a while, but you did it well. Imagine Dragons was really good. I hadn't heard that before.
No, that was new. Like, that was real. Like, he really did that.
He really did, because we used to just say, move your chin up and down. My balls itch.
Right. Oh no, the whole thing, man. These kids are ruthless now.
And your celebrity list and you saying same. That was good. And oh, by the way, nice beard.
Oh, you trying to fuck me? It's okay. All right, thank you, Jim. Deb.
Oh, I really like the sister joke because it just went on, and I just kept thinking this is the end of the joke, but then it went on, and then I thought this is ending now. So that structure is very good. I think it's quite hard to probably also write. I don't know, but it really works.
Thank you.
So I really enjoyed that for a while, even when you had moved on to your kids and stuff. So I thought that this heart the skirt that just sounded very funny, and
What?
I can the heart. You know that your daughter says I'm hearting the clothes. Yeah. I mean, I can kind of really see like the teenagers doing those kind of things. It's very relatable. Yeah. And the celebrity list was very funny. So I've heard a few versions of that celebrity joke. So I was almost anticipating you'd go with somebody every day on your list, but the twist was really surprising. That I have never, I didn't see that coming at all.
Right. Good.
So yeah, that was very nice.
Thank you.
Your Jason Momoa tag on that is great.
Yeah. I thought, did you give me that?
No.
Like I've got that out of this comedy workshop. Somebody told me like Jason Momoa is so good looking, like I'll let him fuck me. Like
that's a great tag though.
Yeah. All right, David.
That was great stuff. Love the sister fucking joke.
Have you ever said those words before?
He's British, of course he has.
Normally it's my fucking sister. But that was good. There's just so many layers to that. It was just like, yeah, that was great. 19-year-old stop believing in Santa. That's a good one. That's good. The eggplant, fucking hell, loved it. Yeah. Ooh, I could eggplant that waitress. I could just dad. And then yeah, we've all got our I mean, you can be as manly as you want to, but we've all got our list of celebrities that would make us question our heteroflexuality, if you like. I would add Idris Elba and Daniel Craig to that list, but yeah,
nice selections.
But yeah, I mean it's good. It's good stuff. All good stuff there. You've got an eye for a twist. It's a good thing. You got a great eye for that comedic reversal. So good stuff. Good stuff.
Appreciate that. Means a lot, man. I appreciate that. Priscilla has a few comments. Gotta go, guys. Thanks for letting me play. Add me if you like. Just no lady in Santa Cruz.
Thanks, Priscilla.
Thank you, Priscilla. Dave Parsons. I didn't mean delete the joke. Just those words, they don't fit.
That's okay.
Okay. Deb, expand. What else can be 2 minutes of joy? Transcendental meditation chocolate.
Yeah.
And okay, bye. Bye, Priscilla. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, bye.
All right, so this comes to the end of the workshop. I'm gonna let everybody go around and promote if they have anything coming up. You know, if you got social media you want to, promote. You know, this is your time to shine. Gandalf, we'll start with you, my
man. Really don't have anything going on. I'm just kind of slowly trying to work on my skills right now. I do. Back in 2013, when I was basically told I wasn't good at improv or comedy. But some people said I was good at writing. I started a Facebook page where I post jokes. I try to post 3 jokes a week. After the first year, I had 3 followers, but I just hit 2,800, which I know it's not big by Facebook terms, but for me, that's big. So it's the comedy of Jim Music. Don't search for Jim Music in Facebook. You'll get my timeline, and it's boring. You'll just find pictures of my dog. But if you search the comedy of Jim Music, that's where my jokes are, and I'll post the link in a minute.
Very cool. Deb?
Yeah, I have an Instagram account that I can connect with all of you on. If you are on Instagram, it's called MacAudu. I couldn't follow how to put that on my name, but I just posted it on the chat there. And yeah, I'm just waiting for all the lockdowns to be over. Until then, you can probably find me in some of these virtual spaces.
Very cool. Cool. David?
So I'm slowly starting to emerge in real life comedy, but I'm still doing a bunch of online stuff. I do a lot of work with an organization called Rampantly. We run a bunch of different mics. I've got another production company, Wild Beaver Productions, that I run with my friend Charlotte Parker. We do. We've been doing Zoom shows. We're hoping to translate that into the in-person space. But if you want to follow me, see where I'm up Parsons D on the Facebook, or at D Parsons Comedy, both Insta and Twitter. Although I'm not all that active on Twitter. I always tell myself I'm gonna be, but I never do. So, but yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to gig with you. Three hilarious people, one from just up the street and two from around the world. So, have fun.
So I'm Jason Dameron. I go by JD, but if you want to find me on Facebook, it's Jason Dameron. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's JD_comedy drinking, because I like to drink and I like to make people laugh. So that's what I do on there. My biggest thing that I do social media wise is my podcast, Just Add Bourbon podcast. I'm kind of the left wing guy. I debate with a couple of right wing guys. We do politics, we do pop culture, I tell some jokes. Sometimes I get fucked up, and we have a good go at it. And we're like 15 nations, and I think we're in every state now, and I think it's about to get really big for us. So if you guys want to jump on that and follow, I'd really appreciate it. And if there's any comedy in Kentucky, West Virginia, please let me know, because there's a shit around here. And so that's all we got, man. You guys, anything we need to say that hasn't been said yet before we depart ways?
Thanks for having us on.
I appreciate you all. I had a great time as always. Appreciate Scott and this workshop, and
yeah,
everybody keep it working, man. See you guys.
Hey,
see y'all out there.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
See you.